Hi, my name's Mark, one of the pastors here at Trillium. 2019 is been designated by the UN as the year of the periodic table. Remember the periodic table in chemistry, high school chemistry? I remember it. A lot of people have tried to forget their high school chemistry classes. Maybe you remember the periodic table. I actually, in grade 11, memorized the whole thing, from element 1, hydrogen, all the way up to those synthetic elements that I can't even remember now. The periodic table is something we take for granted today, but it was only about 100 years old when I started my studies. 1869, I believe, was when the first periodic table was put together. They had 50 elements. Now we got over 100. And I guess because maybe it was the 150th anniversary this year, the UN has designated the periodic table as the focus of the year, as a triumph of human understanding. It's interesting, those elements, no one's actually ever been able to see an element up close, like an atom. Even with electron microscopes, the best we get is a kind of blurry image. And so what we've done over the last couple hundred years is inferred the existence of elements through their impact on the environment around them. And that's the normal process in dealing with things so small that they can't be seen. Something that has changed in my lifetime is there's now also a particle table, not just a periodic table, there's a particle table. The standard model of particle theory has its own table and includes things like quarks, you've probably heard of those. Electrons are actually at that in the particle table. There's also bosons. And the most recent addition is the Higgs boson that was discovered back in 2012. Peter Higgs, back in the early 1960s, along with some other scientists, hypothesized the existence of another particle. And it took them almost 50 years to get the ability to actually test it out. But at the Large Hadron Collider in Switzerland, they finally were able to smash an atom so fast and hard that the splinters came out, and the evidence in the environment gave rise to the understanding that the Higgs boson exists. That is, the evidence that was in the splinters that impacted on the environment was consistent with the mathematical models that had been proposed in the theory or hypothesis of the Higgs boson. Interestingly, at the news conference where the scientists came out and gave news of this discovery, one of the reporters, in a rather naive and obvious way, asked, did they actually see the Higgs boson? Did you see the Higgs boson? And the scientist was perplexed for a moment and then laughed because, of course, the Higgs boson is far, far, far too small to be seen. You can't see a Higgs boson. You infer its existence through the external evidence on the environment. And what it made me realize is that a lot of science today is done by inference. A lot of science is done by circumstantial evidence. That's what they did in the Higgs boson. They took the circumstantial evidence of the impacts in the environment and were able to ascertain the existence of the boson. And we do that all the time in our own lives. In fact, I would think most of what we deal with in our lives is basically circumstantial evidence. I remember years ago, my one brother, we were all, who was banned from the car, my mom's car, for a little while for doing something, I can't remember what, something wrong. And one Saturday, the whole family went out on a drive, except that brother. He stayed home, he didn't feel like going. And we went out, and when we came back in the afternoon, my mom's car had been moved in the driveway. And all of a sudden, there was a kind of curiosity there. My dad went over and put his hand on the hood of my mom's car, and it was warm. Hypothesis, the car has been driven. Interestingly enough, it was all circumstantial. No one had seen him drive the car, no neighbors, nobody in the community had seen him, my parents hadn't seen him, no one had seen my brother driving the car, and yet the evidence was pretty clear. Even more interesting was the fact that my mom and dad had both sets of keys to my mom's car. Hypothesis, how did the car get moved? There must be another set of keys. My brother denied, in fact, driving the car. He denied having an extra set of keys made up, but nonetheless, Mom and Dad were able to bust him because the circumstantial evidence was overwhelming. And it seems to me that's true with God as well. We can't prove the existence of God any more than we can prove the existence of the Higgs boson. We can't prove the existence of God in a hard, factual way. We infer it from the circumstantial evidence. And we should be not shy about that, or even embarrassed about it, or even reticent about acknowledging that truth. We see the evidence, circumstantial as it is, and we infer the existence of God.